War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice, keeping you informed. War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice. Thank you for tuning in to War Room, Gwinnett County. I'm your host, Antonio Jones. We're back with another episode. So much has happened since the last time, within a week and a half's time. If you're tuning in for the first time, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We have a very, very important show today. Assassination attempt on the former President Trump, since we were last here. Joe Biden has gone missing, seems like, and Kamala has entered the race. I think there are some lawsuits flying about the campaign funds and just bunch of things a lot going on locally. The border is still wide open, and it's impacting all of us in major ways. So we're going to start with a couple of articles from Breitbart before we take a short break and then have our guest on. So let's go through this first article from Breitbart. The title is The Secret Service Advises Trump Campaign to Stop Holding the Rallies Outdoors. Let's read through this. Secret Service has reportedly advised the Trump campaign to stop holding rallies and events outdoors almost 2 weeks after an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. 3 people close to the matter who spoke to the Washington Post on the condition of anonymity said the Secret Service had spoken to the campaign advisors about not holding events outdoors with large crowds. This comes after Trump was shot by a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th, when 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks opened fire from a roof of a nearby building. The sources attended that the Trump campaign is not currently looking to hold outdoor events and is eyeing indoor venues such as basketball arenas and other large spaces that can seat thousands of attendees. A campaign official who spoke to the outlet anonymously explained that holding events indoors is safer because you're able to control who comes through with a finite number of doors, but pointing out the indoor events have capacity limits. Indoor rallies are more expensive, campaign advisor said, but one campaign official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe private plans said the indoor events are inherently safer because it is easier to control who comes through the doors. Obviously, quote, with an indoor venue, you have a capacity, unquote, the campaign official added. It doesn't pack the same punch. There's something about being at one of those outdoor rallies. Obviously, with the indoor, move on. Since the assassination attempt on Trump, the U.S. Secret Service has received an increased criticism surrounding the security failings that occurred during the Trump rally. On Monday, the now former Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle appeared before the House Oversight and Accountability Committee for a hearing. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle questioned Cheatle intensely, with Rep. Alex AOC questioning why the Secret Service had a security perimeter smaller than the range of an AR-15. Cheatle was also questioned by Rep. Maxwell Frost from Florida, a Democrat, regarding the number of times the Secret Service had been alerted about a suspicious person at the rally and asking why the event had not been paused. Prior to the hearing, Cheatle stated that agents had not been placed on Crooks' roof because the safety factor associated with putting someone on a slope roof. She resigned from her position as director on Tuesday. This looks like, to me, just in my opinion, that this failure may have been a feature. The news media is not really reporting like they should be on this particular thing, and it's taking podcasters all around the country trying to unite and people. And thank God for Elon Musk for allowing us podcasters and many other general public just to have a platform to get this information out on, because without it, if this had been like leading up to 2020, I just don't know what kind of position, because the narrative would be really, really skewed. We got people out here that are saying that this thing was staged. It wasn't real. I spoke to a personal friend who actually went far as saying that Trump had some, this is real. It's funny, but it's sad. But he went as far as saying that Trump had some type of explosive device on his ear and exploded it. I mean, it was a really, really wild conversation between me and this guy. And this is a guy I was roommates with in college. So this is really, really bizarre at how the media has swayed public opinion to hate somebody this much that they don't even see what they see anymore. You know, people that have mental conditions, my heart goes out to them. And a lot of it is people hallucinating. But now we're in a position where people can't even decipher what they see anymore. And I really don't see much difference in that, in someone kind of being on the edge of insanity. You know, we're trying to shake the public and wake them up. And like, dude, you don't see that? This guy was bleeding. You know, somebody else died. And you're concocting some story about the president having something on his ear and it exploded. And this was some type of setup. Who in their right mind would depend on a marksman to just be like, maybe a quarter of an inch off, I'm going to die here, or just graze a little part of my ear. This stuff is insanity. But anyway, let's move on to the next article. So now Joe Biden has been missing, and many other podcasters, Alex Jones in particular, said they will go after Trump, try to kill Trump, in which they've done. And later after that, the deep state will go after Biden and, probably kill him next. And what they've done, in my opinion, is they've removed him off the scene, which I would call a soft kill, of kind of just getting him out of the way, maybe not literally killing him, but getting him out of the way after that debate, to show that, because the poll numbers were so bad with Joe Biden that all of the big money people knew that putting him up as a candidate, that they would not win. It'd just be a total waste of time and a waste of money. So they've kind of pushed him out of the way, and here comes Kamala. And it's my belief that she won't last anyway. And the reason why Trump even turned is because of the chart. Well, why was he reading the chart? It's because Kamala Harris, that was appointed the border czar, and we'll go through this article by Breitbart in a second. She was appointed to be the border czar by Joe Biden, and she failed at that. We knew she wasn't going to fix it, because the Democrats, they want open borders. So I'm not going to pretend like they really was going to give it a college Joe try. But because of them not sealing the border, he actually was reading this chart at the rally that he was referring to. And that chart is why he turned. Thank God that it was the grace of God that he didn't get shot and he didn't die. But now they're going to put the person up who made the chart even possible, Kamala Harris. So let's go through this Breitbart article real quick. Desperate media seeks to erase Kamala Harris' failed border czar role. The very same media that championed Kamala Harris as the American new border czar in April of 2021 is now claiming that she not only was our border czar, but her duties never including slowing the surge of illegal immigration at our southern border. So my question would be, what are you supposed to be doing as the border czar if that's not what your job is? All right. Here are the proven liars at the far left PolitiFact. I don't link this week tackling assistance for Kamala. Nope. They say she was never border czar. Nope. She was never in charge of decreasing the flow of illegal immigration. Everything that the news, I've been saying this, Everything that the news media tells you is a lie. And what's suspicious to me, and this is another rabbit hole, maybe me and the guest will talk about this, is, first, Joe Biden's not going to drop out of the race. Then Joe Biden drops out of the race. And then he immediately endorses Kamala Harris, and all this fanfare is behind, how we're behind Kamala. And I just really believe that she's just kind of like a carryover. I don't believe that she will be the final person, because it seems like anything that they tell you first, they switch. I mean, don't we remember what was it, 2 weeks to stop the spread? They jumped right out, and here we are. We ended up 2 years. But let's go on. Biden tasked Harris with addressing the root causes that drive migration to the United States. He did not ask her with controlling who and how many people enter the southern U.S. border. That's the Homeland Security Secretary's responsibilities. Experts, there's that word, say that seeing the results of addressing root causes driving people out of Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras due to, I guess, violence, economic insecurity, and corruption takes time. All right, let's start debunking that lie with Joe Biden's own words. Here's the relevant portion of Biden's March 25th, 2021 public announcement. The media is claiming that Harris was never the border czar. Fortunately, we had X, just like I said earlier. They have a clip on there. You guys can go and check that out. But let's see what he said. I've asked the VP today because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that need help in stemming the movement of so many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border. All right. But you guys can go and take a look at that article and dig into it. There's a video on there from Breitbart. But this southern border situation is really impacting our national security. It is another form of inflation, because you have less dollars, you have more people, you have less more dollars chasing a less amount of goods. Immigration is a form of inflation, because it raises the demand for the few products that we have on the shelf, and then the prices just go up and they go through the roof. Secondly, it's a national security problem. We don't have any idea who's coming in here to our communities, foreign nationals, military age men. And this is a complete disaster. And all of this, not all of it, but the fact that Joe Biden named Kamala Harris the border czar is attached to her name. So I don't see how they're going to ride this horse all the way through the election. I don't see it. But we're going to talk with a guest coming up next. And she has a great podcast and doing some great work. And she's all dug in on everything politics. And she's out here fighting for our country. So you guys hang on, and we'll be back right after this.
Accelerate your business goals and brand presence on the World Wide Web by logging on to SafewayHost.store to purchase domain names, web hosting, email hosting, SSL, and more. We have 24/7 customer service and support available to our clients. Get started today so you can achieve your business goals by increasing your web presence. Log on to SafewayHost.store today. That's SafewayHost.store.
War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice, keeping you informed. War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice. All right, guys, before we get our guests in here, I want to go to her website, uncovercali.com. Let's just read a little bit about her before we actually get her on here. All right. So make sure you guys share this podcast. You can donate if you want to. There are some links on there. We have a Cash App and everything like that. It just helps us get more done. We want to put some signs up in and around town. So your contribution those dollars will be used for good things. All right. So let's go on her website. That's uncovercali.com. Let's read a little bit about her. All right. Lori Mills established Uncover California in 2023 after running for California State Assembly in the 2022 election. As a native Californian, Lori had become increasingly concerned about the state and the state government. She saw the impact Sacramento politicians and their policies were causing in the communities. California residents are enduring high taxes, a sharply increasing cost of living, a deteriorating education system, a worsening crime rate, and a homelessness and mental health problem that has evolved into a humanitarian crisis. Californians are losing trust in elected politicians. Productive working families, businesses, and high-paying jobs are leaving for other states at large numbers. Motivated to turn things around in her home state and apply her experience as a successful businesswoman, Lori Mills ran for state assembly. Having run for the assembly, she was able to see and experience the corruption plaguing the state firsthand. Their state is no longer controlled by the people, and their elections are beholden to lobbyist money where grassroots candidates do not stand a chance. Together, she believes they can change this, or we can change this. For a lie cannot stand in the light of truth. Uncover California. So, Lori, welcome to War Room.
I'm so honored to be here. I'm a big fan of yours, by the way. I mean, you've got an incredible voice. You know, you should be winning Grammys.
Well, thank you for that. So, just a quick side note, when I was texting back and forth with Lori about coming on the show, she was like, well, are you going to sing?
Yeah.
I was like, no, we're gonna make this thing all about Lori. But thank you for that compliment. So we went through your bio and why you got started. Can you just kind of elaborate on some of the points that you drove home on there about the corruption in California, about how the crime rate and everything is going up from your vantage point there?
Absolutely. I'm a native Californian. I was born in Santa Monica, which is now rated the 10th most deadly city, I believe, in the country, believe it or not, a little beach town. And let me tell you, where California goes, so goes the nation. If you want to talk about Kamala Harris, remember, she was Attorney General here before even entering the Senate. And the woman is a nightmare. She is the most extreme liberal that you could possibly imagine. At one point, she actually prosecuted journalists that pointed out that Planned Parenthood was selling body parts. If you remember in the 2020 election with COVID, they entered in this mass mail-in voting scheme, which is what they used in 2020. But that is the normal here in California. And I want you to think about the people that come here. You've got Gavin Newsom, who is the worst governor. We call him Guido the Killer Pimp because he's a masterful liar. We've got Kamala. We've got Nancy Pelosi. These are the people that are running the Democrat Party. And we have seen a huge uptick in homelessness. I'm fortunate because I live in a red city called Simi Valley, which is Reagan country. It's where the Reagan Library is. But if you go over the hill into LA County, there are tents everywhere. There are homeless encampments everywhere. And that's due to the Democrat policy. They have a super majority here, which means most of our assembly people and our state senators that are on the Republican side, if they go up to speak, they'll turn off their microphones. They will not be heard. We have a one-party Marxist agenda which has swept the state, and they want to take it nationwide. I actually ran for the state assembly. I was a very successful realtor out here, and I had found out they taught my child about sex the Republican side. Understand, California is now, thanks to Gavin Newsom, a sanctuary state to give children sex changes. Not only that, he just put into law here Assembly Bill 1955, which makes it illegal for teachers to tell parents if they are transitioning your children. So this is Woketopia frigging 2.0. But I'm telling you, they want to bring this nationwide. And that's why it's important for you guys to understand what's gone on here, because we're seeing hints of it creep into the national politics, and understand it's coming from this state.
So, given that, is this probably why there was such a big outrage about people looking into the election? Is that really the, as Steve Bannon would say, is that the railhead of most of everything that's going on? Because we did a show, I guess, about 2 weeks ago here. We had Clay Parikh. I think he's a part of Tina Peters' case out in Colorado. We had Mad Liberals and just a number of other, Harry McDougal. I think he defended one of Trump's attorneys down here in Georgia in the Fannie Willis case. I mean, we had some heavy hitters on this show just kind of digging into election integrity. And the judges have slow walked in Georgia, in my view, all of the election cases that has strong evidence in it that people can present. The reason why I put that forth, could the elections and the problems and issues with the machines be the railhead of everything that's going on? Because if we can't get the vote right, you know, most people, after they see what they see, they usually will make a different decision, unless there are a faction of people that's just too far gone. But I don't think that's the average American citizen. If we can't get the elections right and get these things together, we'll never be able to remove these people. And the data and stuff that was presented on the last podcast that we did with those gentlemen is quite shocking.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. As a candidate in California, I can tell you my son is a United States Marine, and he went into boot camp, came home in October of 2022, and he mailed in his ballot, which is, you know, not safe nor secure. And his vote never arrived. We did ballot tracks, it never got there. And if my own son's vote didn't get there, I will guarantee other people's votes are not getting there. 2 weeks ago on my show, I had former Trump attorney John Eastman on. Understand, not only are they going against anybody that brings up election fraud, but they've ruined attorney-client privilege, and they are targeting the attorneys now that have fought against us. You had mentioned earlier about all this money going to Kamala Harris. I had a guy named Hayden Ludwig on my show who was with Capital Research Center. He's with someone else now. But he uncovered Arabella Advisors. Now, for those of you that don't know who Arabella Advisors is, it's a fund where foreign billionaires pile in money, and they have more money than the RNC and DNC combined. And what they have done is they have funds that are underneath them. And understand, their president is a man by the name of Eric Kessler, who was president of the Clinton World Initiative. Mark Elias, the deep state left-wing attorney who brings all these cases against Trump and the election integrity people. That guy is also part of Arabella Financial. They then funnel the money down into these funds like the Hopewell Fund, the 1630 Fund, and then they trickle it down into pop-up groups like Defend Democracy, and that is how they're funding these protesters. That's why.
So is Act Blue kind of wrapped up somewhere?
Oh, 100%. They just blew the whistle on that. Yeah, we have foreign money in our elections.
Okay, so because I know O'Keefe had put some, he had blew the whistle on that and was up in, I think, Annapolis, Maryland, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. And he knocked on this lady door and said, "Say, hey, did you give $200,000 worth of contributions to a particular candidate?" And she said no. And I think how the scheme works, and you correct me, Lori, is once you make a contribution to like a Act Blue, they just kind of keep using that person's name over and over again, funneling that billionaire money that you speak of through and to candidates. I guess keeping it, I guess some type of a what we would say in the streets is like a laundering, washing the money up, hiding it, or what have you. So this same tactic, I was telling my wife, it sounds similar in nature to like the voter roll thing. You know what I mean? They got like a stock of people's names that haven't been cleaned off, and they just kind of running them through batches of ballots, but they kind of doing something similar, not exactly the same with this money situation. It's all still a laundering style operation. What say you?
I say I've been looking into this for 3 years. I'd say I wish James O'Keefe and other people were a little bit more on top of this. Why they haven't pulled Arabella advisors before Congress at this point is baffling to me. It's crazy. Any of your viewers could go to the Capital Research Center articles on Arabella advisors. They've had it out there for years. The Swiss billionaire Hans Weiss that James O'Keefe talked about. There's articles from years ago on this stuff that break it down dollar by dollar, person by person. Joe Biden's ex press secretary, Jen Psaki, was the head of the Hopewell Fund, I believe, which is also another Arabella network. This is the head of the snake. This is where their dark money is coming from. And it's why Republican candidates don't really have a chance when it comes to fundraising, because as we are grassroots and we actually get the money from donors like you,
Working class,
being funded by billionaires.
Yeah. So it's really a David versus Goliath moment. And I asked about the Act Blue because we live here in Gwinnett County, Georgia, and it's the second largest county as far as populace is concerned, and it's heading towards north of 1 million people. I run a business to where I'm kind of in and around different neighborhoods and communities within Gwinnett County like every single day, and I see the building and construction that's going on here, and it's like every third house, everywhere you look, looks like the first house. So this looks and smells to me like big money, and the public has been very outspoken on the high density building and in a place that really can't deal with the traffic, the schools and school teacher issues and violence in schools. And the question comes is, why are they doing this? And I'm looking at the demographic. They're getting their voters in here, and who I describe as their army to change the demographic in the area. And I've been saying this because if we have two Fulton counties, which Gwinnett is kind of like in the middle right now, and we have a chance to change it over by converting people, but there's no way Georgia is going to be red with two Fulton counties in it.
100%. And as I said, California is going nationwide. They've been doing that here for years. Understand what they do. You've got a red city or a red county. What they do is they build high density, low income housing to bring in Democrat voters to skew the vote. Not only that, if you think about illegal immigration, one of the reasons they're doing this, not only to get some voters through, to vote, which, is a hit or miss. What they do is they flood communities with these illegal aliens. So when there is a census, guess what? Those people are included in the census, which changes the district maps and gives Democrats an advantage. They're 10 steps ahead of us, and Republicans need to grow some cojones is the bottom line, because they're not doing it now, but it's to change the demographic in your community. even now there's lawsuits in California. We've got a guy here who was a state senator. He's going to be running again. He's the mayor of Huntington Beach, and he sued Gavin Newsom because they wanted to build high-rise buildings in Huntington Beach. And Tony said, no, you're not going to do that to our nice beach town. You're not going to turn it into another city. But again, they're doing this so they can change the demographics in your communities to skew the vote.
Yeah. And I see this happening, and there are some public officials that I know, some of them I know personally, and I'm seeing the same construction. There's no character to this stuff. It's cheaply made. And they meaning that these city councils and county commissions, they're taking all these pictures, cutting all these ribbons, looking like they're doing something, when in fact what it is this is global manipulation of counties. And this is why we're seeing this high density. People are getting paid a lot of money, and it's my opinion that the builders run the state of Georgia and they run the county on some levels. We had a gentleman come on the show. He talked about he's running for county commission, and he talked about how when you don't balance off the commercial versus the residential, I think you're supposed to be maybe either 50-50 or 60-40, 60 being the commercial side of things. That's when your taxes start to spike. And the reason this happens is 18 acres of commercial versus 18 acres of residential. Well, the residential is going to cost you more in public services. There's going to be more road. You're going to need more police. You're going to need more school teachers. Everything that's attached to the tax base goes up. So with all of these Marxist policies and ideas getting influence in our school system, it has caused a lot of people to move out, and then you get crime, you get other Democrat and liberal style people moving in. Crime is going up, so they need a quick stimulant. So instead of fixing a problem or having good policies, hey, let's just have all of these apartments come in here and look like you getting the tax base build up, when in fact you're not. The gentleman that came on the show that's running for commission said for every dollar that is made when a person comes into the county spends $1.10. So where you add so much taxes on the front end, and they do all these moratoriums and all of these tricks and stuff to get these buildings up, the builders run off with the money. It looks good for a little while, and then the next thing you know, the city and or county is in way over its head, and they have to come back and get that money. And who do they come to? They come to the taxpayers. They come to us, and it's, there's a city of Lawrenceville had a vote up where they were going to raise the city taxes by 60%. 60% on property taxes. And I would just wonder, with all the construction that has come in there, what kind of deals, because they've built this thing that you described that the gentleman defended against Gavin Newsom and sued him to try to stop it or whatever. They built up in Lawrenceville, all of these apartments and high density things like in the downtown area. And that bill is probably coming due right now, would be my guess.
Well, and again, understand this. What they do is they are going to put in low-income housing. What happens with the other apartments that they have? Because they've done that, then they raise the prices on other apartments or housing because the builder wants to make the money back. Out here, we've got BlackRock buying all of our properties to rent out, and they're getting money to house these illegal aliens, which is a huge problem. But even now, like my daughter is paying $3,200 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. So it drives up the price greatly. And our roads, they're not doing anything for the roads. I don't know if you know here, in 2014 in California, the people voted for what was Proposition 1. With that, we put billions of dollars that we wanted water storage built. We don't know where the money went. They never built any water storage, and all of our water goes out to the ocean. So now they want to raise our water rates and Cabot's super high. We're the highest tax state in the country. We're paying $6 for gas right now. Our grocery bills are insane. And again, this is going to go nationwide unless you put a stop to it. Now, something you need to understand too, a lot of these Democrats vote for these policies, and then right now they're fleeing California to states like Tennessee, to states like Texas, to Idaho, and possibly Georgia. And they're going to continue to vote the same way, which is madness to me. But we also have to understand, when we look at our media, these people have been lied to, and they still believe the lie. You look at the experts on CNN and MSNBC. Who are they? You've got Andrew Weissman, Mueller's Pitbull. You've got Peter Strzok, the plan laid out in Andy's office. You've got Andrew McCabe. Those are their experts. John Brennan, James Clapper, who said Hunter's laptop was fake and also was involved in the Russia coup. We've got a real big problem with misinformation in this country, and it's not coming from us. So
go ahead. So let me, because the podcast is, the reason why I brought you on here, because I want to have the conversation about what's going on in the nation, and I wanted you to come on and kind of pad that up as you're doing. So when people hear like the deep state, and because the names that you named off is basically the deep state actors.
100%, and they're the ones giving information to the public.
That's right, and the reason why I had Lori come on here today is because we need to understand here in Gwinnett County that the tentacles reach from the top all the way down to here. These organizations, all of these actors in Washington is manipulating things behind the scenes that has already destroyed California, and those tentacles, that state, everything that's happening there is spreading out here. Okay? She talked about the gentleman trying to stop this 3-story or whatever high-rise building.
Like a multi-level high-rise in a small beach town.
A multi-level high-rise. How many of you guys have saw these things, types of styles of things? They call it the urban sprawl and all of this stuff. People that didn't want to live in Atlanta moved to Gwinnett. So what they're doing now is they're bringing the city to you. It's because they understand that the lifestyle and the policies that come behind that crafts a certain type of voter that supports certain different types of things. And that is why it's happening.
It's about power.
Yes. Everything is about manipulating the public and the public mind. Everything the news media says to you is pretty much a lie. And we need everybody to start asking the people that are running for office, hey, did you hear about what are your thoughts about what's going on in the World Economic Forum? Do you guys have anything that I've had people that I know personally that I've talked to in certain positions here in the city? I'm just going to worry about what's going on in my city. Those are the type of people that you do not need to support. You don't need to support them, because now local politics is national. I've been saying that for over 2 years now. And the people that are sitting in the seats down at your city councils, that is in our county commissions, need to understand that the powers that be, the globalists, are manipulating them. Either they unwittingly or wittingly are involved in this stuff. And if they are involved, we need to unmask them, and we need to get them out of office and keep pressure on them.
And I agree 100%. And some really important offices that you guys really need to focus on are your state legislatures. These are the people that are going to save you. And also your sheriff is such an important office. Your sheriff can stop any mandates or enforcement of mandates. Out here in California during COVID, we were locked down for 2 years. 2 years. Your city council members can protect you. Your board of supervisors can protect you against the federal bureaucracy or the state bureaucracy. Your local politics are extremely important. And you need people that are going to be honey badgers and not care what you don't want somebody that's just looking to move up in politics. I've been saying for a long time, pick people that don't spend their life in politics, because I'll guarantee those that have, I think a lot of them are compromised and blackmailed. And it's why they go along with what's going on. And you've got a beautiful state down there in Georgia. You guys need like 100 Marjorie Taylor Greens. You need to find fighters. You need to find people that don't mind standing up to this. I'm not sure you guys are aware, but even with this whole immigration thing, did you guys know that Kamala Harris, our border czar, and Joe Biden put us into what's called the Global Compact of Migration? They're working with the United Nations to flood our country from people all over the world. They're bringing them through the Darien Gap purposely, and they're making billions of dollars on human suffering. Here in California this week on my show, I had HH whistleblower Tara Lee Rodas. And here in California at the Pomona Fairgrounds, there are 85,000 missing migrant children sold into sex trafficking. They don't know where the kids are. So this is the evil we're looking at. We're looking at a party on the Democrat side that want to change your kid's sex and separate you, the parent, from your child. It's the same thing that Mao did. It's the same thing that Lenin did. It's the same thing that Stalin did. We're at war without a bullet fired, except for President Trump almost being assassinated, 10 days ago.
Yeah. So what do you say to someone, because I have a few friends that are still on the other side, and it just seems like they hate President Trump so much that they just don't care about anything else. What would you say to a person that has that frame of mind right now?
Well, right now I haven't been very gentle, and I will flat out tell them, you have been lied to. And if I have the evidence, I can back up everything I say with evidence. And I say, so it's not your fault, because people hate having to admit that they were wrong about something.
They do.
One of the things is, for instance, and it just came out now, Snoops has finally said that Charleston narrative was fake. It's on Snoops now. They lied about that, and they're continuing to lie about that. Point out to them who their experts are. And, again, it's everybody back to the Russia collusion thing are the same people that are still misinforming the public now. But what I do tell them, which they don't like to hear, is you have a deadly mental mind virus called Trump derangement syndrome. And when they accuse him of things, make them prove it. Make them prove it. Put the onus of burden on them. I can tell you, I've got friends waking up. I have one that hated Trump, and I mean, violently hated Trump. And she texted me the other day and she said, oh my God, I'm becoming a Trumpster. Because as I said, and as it says on my website, a lie can't stand in the light of truth. So I'm going to tell you, don't worry if you lose your job. If we don't have a country, it doesn't matter. Don't worry if you lose friends or family members over this. Speak the truth, speak it boldly, because if we don't have a country, it's not going to matter anyway.
That is so true. So let's take a quick break here, and then we'll come back with more of our guests right after this. War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice, keeping you informed. War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice.
Accelerate your business goals and brand presence on the World Wide Web by logging on to safewayhost.store to purchase domain names, web hosting, email hosting, SSL, and more. We have 24/7 customer service and support available to our clients. Get started today so you can achieve your business goals by increasing your web presence. Log on to safewayhost.store today. That's safewayhost.store.
War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice, keeping you informed. War Room, Gwinnett County, the people's voice. Thank you guys for sticking around in War Room. We're just having an absolutely great conversation today, and it's important that we have courage, when we're in those conversations with people that we love and even with strangers, we have to make sure that we stand on truth. Just like she said, a lie, it will not stand. And as believers, we are commanded to spread the truth. God came here, he came here to die for us. Make no mistake about that. Telling the truth is not going to speed up, your death. We would have an appointed time to be born, an appointed time to die. One of my pastors says, that we are living the dash in the middle. And that is what we will be judged on. When we, before, our Lord and Savior, he's going to judge us on that dash. Make no mistake about it. And I saw a video of Alex Jones, and I'll get the guest back in yesterday. And, Alex has been on this ship by himself for a very long time. And I believe he was frustrated yesterday, and he was crying and saying, we're going to beat these people. We're going to beat these people. And what I would say to Alex is, Alex, we've already won. The Bible tells us that we got to continue to fight. And if we're going to go off the cliff with the New World Order and evil or all of that, you better believe we need to have both hands around their neck as we both go off, because we win off the cliff. We win this thing in the end. We've been promised that. So our eternity as believers have already begun. The rest of this is just a test that we're living, and we're seeing, people like, God bless people like John Eastman, like that you had on, who has been brave enough to stand up, Harry McDougal and many other people who are defending what is right and trying to defend our Constitution. What say you, Lord?
I would say, what are you willing to give up for this country? If you go back to even our founding, Lexington and Concord, that was 400 farmers that stood at a bridge to take on the biggest army in the world. And I would also like to state, because it's thrown out there a lot, and it's going to be a very big campaign push, the felon against the prosecutor. Number one, this prosecutor was extremely corrupt, and we're going to be putting out a lot of information on her, even how she got her start with Willie Brown and burying his friends' crimes and letting them get off while persecuting people on small drug charges. She was a horrible AG. She's from San Francisco that now has a poop map if you're going to visit. Wow. So there's that, but also the talking point is going to be the felon against the prosecutor. I want to remind each and every one of you, our founders were felons against a tyrannical king. And you need to remember that. We're living under a tyrannical regime right now that is politically persecuting their political opponents, from attorneys to the president himself, to hundreds of J6ers locked up that had nonviolent crimes, while we're watching Hamas supporters right now put maggots in the Watergate Hotel and flood the Capitol with probably a slap on the wrist and get out of here. They're about narratives, and that's all they care about. So again, it is up to each and every one of us to speak the truth, speak it boldly, speak it loudly, no matter the consequence. Even General Flynn, who I've talked to about this, he's telling the truth no matter the cost. They tried to destroy him. They're going to try to destroy anybody. I can say, because I said in the beginning, my business, I can't practice real estate anymore because I'm number 2 on Antifa's hit list out here. So I no longer feel safe going and showing houses to strangers. So my vodcast is my job now. And I'm sure that Antonio would agree with me. It's not a great paying job, but I still feel that God has called me for a time such as this, just like he's called each and every one of you. And I will be darned 20 years from now if I have to tell my grandchildren I did nothing if we don't have a country. And that's truly where we're at right now. Kamala Harris is dangerous. You think that Biden was a puppet for the deep state? She will be their top go-getter bidder. The woman is incompetent, yet she's dangerous. So I really hope that people speak up about her record, especially when she was Attorney General out here. I think if you research that, it's really eye-opening.
Yeah. So speaking of having being called for such a time as this, and it tees up great. You guys are having a pastors. I don't know if we want to call it a convention, but I saw some promotions that you were doing out there for pastors. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's not really, I keep doing events. Like I had a Trumptilla, just things to try to break outside the bubble, because I find a lot of times when you go to Republican groups, it's the same people and everybody's kind of in an echo chamber, and we need to be able to reach the public. So I had seen a couple really good films, and so I decided in faith to rent out a couple movie theaters. One theater for 2 separate dates. So on August 1st, I'm hosting a movie premiere for a movie called Letter to the American Church. You guys now can stream this through Epic Times. Look at the Letter to the American Church. Turning Point Action put this out with Charlie Kirk. It's a fantastic film that shows the parallels between Nazi Germany and what's happening in our country today. The second film that'll be on August 22nd is a movie called The War on Truth. And it is the second film that's been put out by Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard. And it is video you have never seen from January 6th. For instance, did you know that Ashley Babbitt punched one of the Antifa members in the face for breaking the windows at the Capitol? Right there where she got shot. They edited that video. We have that video. So again, one of the things I really feel that I've been called to is getting the truth out. So we're doing 2 movie premieres.
Sounds amazing to be doing that.
And also with the War on Truth, you can get that at the warontruthmovie.com. I would advise for you guys, if you don't want to rent a theater, buy the DVDs and invite your friends over to watch it. Have a movie night with your friends. But the more people that see these films, the more people are going to wake up.
Sounds great. So, what else can we do to make a difference, Lori?
Get involved. Run for office. If you're not already supporting a candidate, donate to your local candidates. I can't stress that highly enough. If you cannot donate and you can't afford, Charlie Kirk, for instance, has a new app out. I don't know if you're aware of it. The Turning Point Action app. On that app, you can go in and you can make phone calls to Republican voters. You can walk precincts for your candidates. But I would highly advise, get involved in a campaign. Doesn't mean that you have to spend all your time there, but who doesn't have an extra 15 minutes to pick up the phone and call 30 people? And usually the way that these systems work is they either have a script, or a lot of times people won't answer because they think you're, a spam call. And so it'll go automatically to voicemail, and there's already a pre-recorded message. So all you have to do is, once it goes to voicemail, it goes through. But the more people we can get out to support candidates and work, the better off we're going to be. Because again, we are up against a money machine that is insane. And they actually are paying their volunteers to go out through dark money pushed by Arabella Financial. So I don't want you guys to feel like, oh my gosh, just it's lost. There's just no hope. There is no hope if you don't get involved. If you get involved and your friends get involved and you tell two friends, the more people that wake up, the more soldiers we have on the battlefield. But nobody, and I mean nobody, should be sitting out this election. It's too important.
That's right. One other thing, I guess, give us a minute of that. The race card is always played, and it's like just an old drum that they just beat, and it's just. I got two. Full disclosure, I got two Facebook pages. My new page is the Patriot page, and my old page is kind of like, because back in forever I was voting Democrat. I always had conservative values, but many blacks are raised up and just kind of grafted into being a Democrat. So, but anyway, I got two Facebook pages. So my other page is like just full of like maybe old high school friends and things of that nature. And it's amazing at how much influence the media has had and continue to have on people that they just don't really see what they see, their own personal lived experiences. So my question is, if you had a room full of black people, and what would you say to them about a reason why they should come to the Republican Party, or what have you? What would you say to them? Because Republicans get painted as just like an old racist white people party or whatever, and that's just so not true. And so, what would you say? What would you say to them?
The first thing I would do is give them all a hug. And I come from the. You have to look at what they say. They will call a black person a white supremacist. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Mm-hmm. But I would honestly ask, what has the Democrat Party done for you? Is your life better because of the policies they put forward? And again, this race card is another Marxist tactic to divide the country. We're moving backwards. I mean, I live in a very diverse state. I love everybody. Either you're cool or you're not cool. Like you're a jerk or you're not. And I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what your sexual preferences are. I don't really want to know your sexual preferences. It's none of my business. But that's the thing I would really stress to them. How much better has your life been over all of these years by supporting these policies? Because you have to look at these Democrat-run areas like Los Angeles or Chicago, or as you said, Atlanta. What's happening in your life around there? You've been voting Democrat for how long? And what have they done to change things? They've done nothing for you. So what have you got to lose? Because I can tell you, any black person I've met in our movement, they're amazing people. And I love them so much. And, you look at Martin Luther King, what he said. He wanted us to be seen by the content of our character, not the color of our skin. So why is the Democrat Party always trying to be judged by the color of their skin? Why can't we move past that? We're all human beings. We all bleed red, and we all love our children. And I just think identity politics like that are for people that don't have an intellectual argument for bettering the community. How many times, Antonio, have you been online and gotten in a debate with a left-wing person, and that, you put forward a point, and then the next thing you know, all they say to you is, you're a racist, you're a fascist. That's not an argument. It's not an intelligent debate. And it's a way to silence you. And so I say to my Black brothers and sisters out there, you know what? Jesus sees us all the same. I have nothing but love for you. And I do love our country. And it's time to take it back. The Democrat Party has failed you so immensely. Wake up and see that. And please stop watching CNN and MSNBC and NBC and ABC and CBS. And I'm not even telling you to watch Fox because Fox is horrible. I would tell you to start watching some podcasts with independent journalism because our news organizations are dead. And unfortunately, Antonio and I have had to step up and become the news for you. So you've got War Room, which Antonio has. You've got the Dan Bongino Show, which is a fantastic podcast. If you want any information on this assassination attempt, I think he's put out the best information being an ex-Secret Service agent. But this identity politics is meant to divide us. And you know what? We in the Republican Party have nothing but love for you. We embrace you. You will never be called a racist in our movement. You will never be called a fascist in our movement. You're just going to join hands with us, and there's nothing but love on the Trump train. That's what I would say.
That's it. Well, that sounds great. It's been great. Do you have anything else that you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, I would love for your audience to follow my show. We only broadcast once a week. We pre-record, so it usually comes out on Wednesday or Thursday. I will not do YouTube. They already wiped me out once. I won't do Facebook because they wiped me out once. So I'm pretty much on Rumble at Uncover Cali. And if you would like, subscribe and, and support our channel, I would love it. I have fantastic guests. I got to have you on, Antonio. And then also, I'm mostly on X. So if you want to follow me on X, it's Lori, Lori, Mills, Mills, the number 4, CA42 on X. But again, on Rumble, Uncover Cali, CALI.
All right. So thank you for stopping by. We may have to just do this regularly. Tell people all the time.
And again, you're going to need to come on my show too.
Absolutely. I'm not the expert. There's so many more people that's much more versed with information. You gave people great look into California politics and just other things that are going on.
Stop it.
Yes, we got to stop it. So that's why I had Lori on. She's great at what she does. And, we're just going to keep forging this thing forward. We got to we lose when we stop fighting.
Yep.
We have to continue to fight for our children and for the future, and we people fought. Like she said, the founders, they became felons as soon as they said, hey, no more. We're not coming back. We're going to make our own declaration right now. And that's what they did.
And a lot of them were persecuted. A lot of them were jailed. A lot of them lost their lives. A lot of them lost everything. But again, what are you personally willing to give up for your kids?
That's right. And they did that for us. And we've been like spoiled kids for all this time. And we've not really had to fight to preserve our freedoms. And the time is now for us to step up and do what's right. And I'm calling more men to step up. And we love what the ladies are doing. You guys do an incredible job at what you do. But we need to see some more men showing up. I mean, school board meetings and the things around town and doing the right things in their homes and leading, doing it the way that the Lord wants them to do it. That's so very important to have that support and leadership in place to complement what the ladies are already out here doing. Guys, they're showing us up right now, so we got to show up and fight and do what we're supposed to do. Yeah. Thanks again. Go ahead, Lori.
This is not another 4-year election, guys. If Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States, we're done. We're done.
That's it. It's like having a dictator for life. No matter who comes thereafter, it will not matter. It will not matter. We have to turn the vote out. We have to watch the vote. and do everything possible to win this election.
Get involved.
Get involved. Well, thanks, Lori.
Thanks so much for having me, and I'll see you on X.
All right.
And, we'll be in touch soon.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you for stopping by. All right. All right, guys. So make sure you follow Lori. She does a great job with Uncover California. She's very active on X. I believe we met on X. It was, she has some great content, and you got questions, go in there and ask her. She's much more versed than I am on some of the stuff that's going on national politics. So get on there and ask her. I'm not the expert here. Our show is crowdsourced. We try to take the information, put it out, and educate the electorate and people in the community so that we can preserve our freedoms, for our children. That's what this is all about. It's not about anything more than that. So make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys on the next one. War Room, Gwinnett County. The people's voice, keeping you informed. War Room, Gwinnett County. The people.